everyone. This is Pierre. I'm joined here with Author.
Hello.
Today we are doing a running commentary on the Desperation of Spamton G. Spamton, just sort of giving our behind-the-scenes looks at what it came to making this video, the thought process behind it, the actual editing techniques used, and this one I think showcases a lot in both the writing and the visual audio department. And
Yes.
sort of how the creative process works. And we want to be able to get back to that because, I would personally be curious on that. And I feel like, if you can use this as a resource or if you can use this as whatever, I can eat my dinner with this in the background on it, then that's great.
Yep. I agree.
Uh, we are going to be releasing these commentaries more often on our Patreon. Anyone at the $1 tier and above, which is all tiers, actually thinking on that. Yeah. If you're in, then you will get our full thoughts on various videos after we release them. Right now, we have one up on the Legend of Zelda Gerudo Valley or Gerudo Desert, rather. We did a full comms track on that. Has a lot of good insights, I think,
I
from
agree.
authors' end. I just kind of putz around, but
I don't know if I agree with that. I think there's both of us commentating on it gives a lot of good insight, and I think that's going to be the same for this video as well. Now, before we get started, I do want to say the history for this video is great. I think it's quite legendary. I remember I was in the middle of working on TF2, I think still, and Pierre had come to me. It was November. I was gearing up for finals, and I was just about to move into my new apartment. And he texted me and he said, "Hey, I would it be cool if I did like a quick video about Spamton?" And I said, "Oh my God, that would be genius." And he texted me like I think maybe it had to have been like 20 minutes later or something like that, or it was the same day, I know that. And he said, "Hey, so I thought it was going to be a quick video. It's not a quick video anymore. It's 30 minutes." And I said, "That's even better." And sure enough, a few days later, he gets me the audio, and I say, "Can I put everything else on hold and work on this one?" And he said, "Absolutely." And I did. I think this is absolutely like a case of lightning in a bottle for us. This is by far the most popular and well-received video I've ever worked on personally. Like ever since I've come to the channel, like by far, like by 100,000 views at least. I love this thing. It's my favorite video that I've worked on thus far, and I think it's the one that has allowed me, that's been put out yet, that has allowed me to be the most creative. And I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a phenomenal video.
No, this is definitely a special one.
Mm-hmm,
Because I don't usually release videos on games that were recent, and Deltarune
mm-hmm.
Chapter 2 was what, 2 months old when
Yeah,
I made the video
yeah,
or when I typed it up.
yeah. It was pretty. It pretty much had like just come out by that point. It was I mean, it was just God. When did this? Deltarune came out in Chapter 2 came out in September. I'm
I
wanting to
think it was
say.
late September, I
Yeah,
want to say, yeah.
late September. We put this video out in
January.
Oh, that's right. I needed to delay it a little bit because yeah.
Yeah.
So it was January. Um, I mean, yeah, we pumped this son of a bitch out really quickly.
Yeah, no, but
It's a good
no,
video.
this one it really spoke to me, the general character of Spamton,
Oh
because I
yeah.
was introduced to him through a friend recommending me the song, not Big Shot. I got introduced to him through Now's Your Chance to Be a,
Okay.
and just that sort of vibe of it. So I got the less extreme version of Spamton and
Wow.
then got to check him out, and then I got, oh, oh no, oh no, I'm looking in the mirror.
I was my first interaction with Spamton was through memes. It was through people posting. I hadn't gotten to play Chapter 2 yet,
Yeah.
and I was just like bombarded with Cromer memes and visual gags relating to Spamton and people like absolutely like gushing over this guy, and I think that was like a perfect for me. That was a perfect introduction into Spamton, and
No, it's perfect for his character.
mhm. We can't sit here all day and talk about this. Let's move
Yeah,
on.
yeah, no, let's actually do it.
Oh, dude,
So I was so upset because I got a
why?
haircut right before this video,
Oh,
and you can see all the balding so easily. I remember
it's
playing.
not. I don't. I didn't. I personally didn't notice that. So when Piers sent me the live action footage for this, I was overjoyed that I finally got to work on this channel with something that was like live action. I love working with footage like that, especially if there's like a green screen or something. There's just a
Mhm.
lot to do with it. Now, I wasn't as experienced as I was back when I did this video. It's been more than a year now by this point. Um,
Yeah,
I'm sure I'm gonna try to keep like things that I would change on the DL because that could get really annoying really quickly. I will say I'm still very fond of the work that we've done, and I loved working with this live action footage. It was a highlight for me. It still is a highlight for me.
I remember
Definitely.
playing Undertale before it was a big deal. Slow Beef played a little bit of it when it came out. I liked what I saw enough to buy the game on the spot, thoroughly enjoyed it, and immediately went to push it on all my friends right as it became the hip thing that everyone else was doing. And while it ended up
What
ballooning into
possessed me?
something as
What-
beautiful
I
as
think
it
that
was
was a specific
frightening
request
and
for me to do.
annoyingly
Okay, have
Did
the
you say
coconut
that?
gun.
Did
I'm
you?
pretty sure, because otherwise, I don't think you're getting. I think that's Chunky Kong's pineapple shooter.
Oh, is it? Oh,
I
that's really
don't
funny.
think that you're going to go, oh, yes, Chunky Kong's pineapple shooter. That's a contemporary reference. I understand.
I could maybe it was you. I don't remember. I don't have the receipts on that. I think it was you that had recommended that, but I also feel like I had gone. I'm vaguely remembering going out of my way to find like. Well, he likes DK, so it's like a D. This was like before DK. This was like a year before DK December, by the way. So like,
Yes.
I was not schooled on the lore of Donkey
That,
Kong by this point.
that's one way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. It's lost to time. It's lost to time. We'll never know.
became the hip thing that everyone else was doing. And while it ended up ballooning into something as beautiful as it was frightening and annoyingly inescapable, the great things that Undertale does as a video game absolutely deserve love and praise. Every last bit of the game is so carefully considered, little details getting extra time and fleshing out, and it's this depth that's allowed the game to flourish so wonderfully. Items are all cute puns or lean into world building. Bullet patterns during fights manage to show off character personality in addition to gameplay gimmicks. And extra world building and bonus dialogue is out there in abundance for players who just can't get enough of their friends Reverse Mermaid and Egg's husband. It's never the hardest or most complicated RPG or bullet hell, but it goes the extra mile to make sure that each encounter feels unique, meaningful, and varied. And that heart-shaped design has only grown stronger with time in the game's follow-up.
So for anybody that uses After Effects, um, there is a much simpler way of doing this zoom thing that I was doing with these shapes. So in After Effects, I just copied each individual shape and like increased the scale. That's not that is horribly inefficient. Don't do it like that. Just make one square that doesn't have anything in it, right? Get a shape layer. And then there's an effect you can use called radio waves that just makes the same shape and it like makes it grow. So it's like it's like imagine like a radio tower that has like the circle like going out from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, but you can do it with any shape that you want. You can even do it with like a custom shape, like a head or whatever.
Yeah.
I only recently learned that I could do that. And I feel like an idiot that I didn't do it like that the first time. Oopsie daisy.
Still very well done on this transition because I had to manually create that sound effect. That
Oh,
whole
did you?
sound. It was ripping from like 5 different places, and then you actually perfectly synced it to the battle scene.
Thank you very much. When I was listening to the audio, I knew that it had to be something like that. I also knew that like that freaking door, dude. It's got to be that door. I got to do something with that this iconography. And it looks great.
Yeah, because I just had the sounds for you to work off of because I was like, okay, we need a scene transition. He'll
Yeah.
handle it.
Yeah, totally.
As
Thank
the
you.
spicier younger brother to Undertale, Deltarune takes what its predecessor set out to accomplish and turbocharges it. Basic RPG gameplay? Shazam! Expanded into a fuller and more robust combat system, with party control greatly increasing the amount of options a player has. Bullet patterns? Yeah, we got those. And now we're mixing in more variations, more combo attacks, more messing with the play area itself. Characterization and lore? Oh, we got implications stacked on top of implications, building on the previously existing mythos of Undertale, inviting players to figure out what's happened to their favorite characters without having to shove Sans back into the spotlight, while telling a wholly original story with new characters who get to develop their own worlds of self-reflection. And Birdly! All my homies hate Birdly. It's great! Deltarune
So many
succeeds
people were
so
pissed off by that.
nicely.
Like, oh, you hate Birdly.
I remember reading comments about that, and I think that confused me ever so slightly because who likes
Bro,
Birdly?
we're all in on it. We all love Birdly.
I also I did just put the F word right here, and
Yep.
you can't do that. Just put hyperlink. All right, man. Sure, you got it. Also, I talk about this in the Garuda video, but whenever I do things like this, where it's like a very sort of complicated quote unquote graphic, where it's like different heads or like text that's on top of like a meme or something like that. I always do something like that in Photoshop, and then I pour it into After Effects because I think it would take like way longer for me to like individually place these heads and put that text over. I mean, maybe not that much longer, but it's easier for me to have an asset that's just of all the combined things and then put it into something else. You know what I'm saying? It saves
Yeah.
on time and space.
Yeah,
Birdly,
definitely.
It's great! Deltarune succeeds so nicely at expanding Undertale's scope from a design perspective, taking those special encounters and characters that players grew to love and finding new ways to introduce challenge, new modes, new mechanics, and then tie it all together with the friends and foes the player faces. It just makes it a joy to go through.
Before we get into that, I didn't know anything about Toho before the Toho video that we did last year.
Right.
And I wish I had known about Toho before I did this video, because there could have been so many opportunities to make a Spamton Toho joke somewhere, anywhere. It would have been like a Koichi Komiji Spamton joke specifically, like referencing. I don't know how many people know about KKHGA. Maybe that's like too obscure. But like, oh my god, that would freak people out. But I think it would work like beautifully with the sort of like jump scare thing that we have towards the middle here. But anyway,
No, definitely.
that's a foregone wish.
New modes, new mechanics, and then tie it all together with the friends and foes the player faces. It just makes it a joy to go through. But we have a special deal.
Okay, so probably still my favorite set of effects that I've done for the channel thus far, hands down.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
I loved doing these intermittent commercials for this video. It was so much fun to go back and look at like 2000s, 1990s, maybe even like as far back as the 80s commercials to see what I could take to replicate the look of what Spamton is like what Spamton's like based off of. Wayne Radio TV came out with a for the Deltarune like 2-year anniversary or chapter 2 like year anniversary or something like that. They did something that was very similar to this. Now I'm not going to say, don't quote me on this. I'm not saying that they stole my idea. They didn't, okay? This is just what Spamton is based off of, okay? And also their group like does VHS stuff like all the time, right? They've been doing it. They did it like way longer than I did this. So I'm not going to say they stole my idea. No.
That looks beyond that and goes
Oh wait, I forgot to mention.
leave your mom's house.
So before this point, I did not have a I didn't have a VHS, or I should say a VCR to replicate this effect. I didn't want to do what people usually do, where they take like a crappy effect in Premiere or something like that and just like slap it on. I didn't want to do that because that to me, I can see that instantly and it bothers me, right? I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to be authentic. So I have a friend. His username is Classic Computers, and he works with like analog and not content, but he works with like analog stuff like all the time. Like he right now he's working at a museum in Florida, I think. No, it's in New York now. It's in New York. And it's like he repairs like all the electronics that are in there so that they can actually work for people to look at them. And I just said like, hey, can I send you this video, and can you just like can you just put like a VHS filter over it? And he said, yeah, totally. So what he did was he took the videos that I sent him. I just sent him like a file that had all the commercials back to back to each other. And then he there's a specific type of tool that you can use where you can take the feed from a computer and then put it into the input of a VHS or a VCR. Why do I keep saying VHS? VCR. Put it into the input of a VCR, and then you can record it onto the VCR, and then you can take the output from the VCR and put it into your computer again. And there's like a specific what is it? It's like a recording software that just senses that you're plugged into a VCR, and then it records what's on there and puts it on your computer. And that's what he did, and that's what I've done anytime that I've done like a VHS effect since then. It's not unnecessary. Actually, I think this was completely legitimate for me to do this, and it's always going to be legitimate for me to do this. And if anybody says otherwise, you're wrong.
Before you turn 30. No, I think that it's very important that you manage to be able to push yourself in some way to get the exact kind of effect you want. Not for every step of a video, but like when you're leaving a video, you should have something in it that you feel really, really satisfied with.
I agree completely.
That's proof that you're growing as a creator. And that people are going to stick with those things. If you're proud of them, even if no one else notices, you don't know. Not everyone talks to you. Someone's going to notice.
Totally. I agree completely.
It's a character who, in just one chapter, beautifully mixes himself in with the game in a way so thematically complete, we're practically giving it away.
Okay. I don't want anybody to tell me that this is out of left field, because there is a commercial that looks almost exactly like this, where it's a dude, or it's like a weird creature, like hamster creature, that's like got like a stop motion mouth that's like talking at the camera for Quiznos, I think it is. So if any of you none of you question me about this. This is based off of an actual commercial, okay?
He integrates himself into the world around him at large, into the deeper mythos of Deltarune, and even directly into the main character, while not only remaining wildly entertaining, but having gameplay reflective of all the chaotic turmoil he stirs up. Every single action he takes, every line of dialogue is building to something, all of it reflecting a pure desperation. And it's that through line that makes Spamton G. Spamton. The week. Spamton barges into
Beautiful.
Deltarune in the
Thank
Now,
you.
I do have to say that we don't show Spamton at all for the first, 4 minutes and 20 seconds of the video.
That is true.
And that was very, very deliberate, including the very large preamble, because I know people are here for Spamton. I know
Yeah.
that that's a lot of, okay, can you stop talking about Undertale and Deltarune and get to the point? But I absolutely needed to emphasize all of the little things that Spamton does. I needed to create a foundation because a lot of Spamton's more unique aspects play off of the expectations you have of Deltarune, of Undertale, and how that is grown. Like, you need to have what is the rise and what is the appeal before you can see the fall.
Yeah.
So
I agree 100%.
all of that was very much constructed so that we have just a nice little positive review, and then slowly we start twisting it in, and just to get that sort of emulation of the feeling of encountering Spamton, who doesn't show up until halfway through the chapter anyway.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's very important for what you're talking about, and also from a cinematic perspective. We want it to be this isn't like a super duper long video in the face of things, but it is one of our longer videos. There's a lot to talk about with it, and I also think that it's probably thus far the most cinematically constructed that we put out. Every video that we have has a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? But
yes,
with this, I think the scope of it and the format allowed us to make it feel like it was more it had a more concise story to tell, I should say. And with that, I think that preamble is necessary to deliver this. And also, it's it was worth it. It's a very popular video, so people liked it.
yeah.
So, it's great. Also, I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but this text pulls the strings to make them ring, and then this is designing for, and I think that's all that I did for. That's an Easter egg in this part.
Spamton barges.
Oh wait, one more thing actually.
The week.
I individually animated his mouth to do that. I got the sprites, and I got the sprite sheet, and I just cut it out, and I made him do the laugh like that because I didn't know how to rotoscope yet. But also this would be way easier than rotoscoping him in the shop, I think.
Right.
Spamton barges into Deltarune in the middle of Chapter 2, bursting out of a dumpster while the protagonist, Chris, is alone for dog-related reasons. He addresses the audience directly, and you instantly get what this guy's about. And if you've jived with Deltarune's humor long enough to actually encounter Spamton, you probably instantly love him. His dialogue is fragmented and broken up. He speaks in all caps with funny interjections censoring words. His name is Spamton, just to hammer in that yes, he is poking fun at spam emails and aggressive online advertising. Glad you noticed.
Okay, so I need to talk about how scuffed this drop shadow effect is. So for a long time in After Effects, I didn't know I didn't know about layer styles, okay? That's really embarrassing because layer styles are that's how you do emboss and bevel and stroke and things like that are really important to know about if you're doing things in After Effects. God, I don't even remember the exact effect for this, but for text, I would oh my God, I did it was all just in the effects panel, and I needed to do like it was I don't even remember what it was. It was so scuffed that I am embarrassed that it's like reinventing the wheel, right? Like it was so unnecessary for me to do it like that. And if I had just looked up how do I do a drop shadow in After Effects, I wouldn't have had to go through the whole process of making it like that. I'll put like what the effect looked like on screen, or what I should say, like the set of effects that I had put on into a text a text graphic to make that happen. God help me.
Well, I think every editor has it at that point. Just, you just learn by doing. Like, I think that it's more important to go, yeah, I made the mistake, but now I'm moving on. Plus, I think it works for the video itself.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
No,
Also,
no. Shut up.
Okay.
It looks good. I approved it.
I appreciate
Plus,
that.
anyway, I think that everyone needs to grow. Like, YouTube
totally.
is a platform of amateurs.
Yeah, totally. Also, all of you better be reading these long text diatribes that I put in these videos. If you don't, I will find you. I think these are hilarious. And if you don't think they're hilarious, count your days, kid.
I think pause the video is always funny.
Worthy of a sitcom guest star, made to instantly win over not necessarily the characters in the game, but the player, and doing so in a scant 4 text boxes. In short,
so I hear you enjoy finding the next Tumblr sexy man.
oh right, and Chris is there. Let's just put a little
popular 25-piece knife package
in the
Okay. So for these little commercial, this was the first time that I was able to use mostly my own assets for these videos, and I attest that anybody should do that. If you can find a way to implement things that you have made yourself into your videos, then you should absolutely do that. It makes you a more well-rounded person, and in general, it gives you more appreciation for the creative process.
Definitely.
And also, it just makes you more original in general, that you think of these kinds of things.
Yeah, definitely. You feel clever when you do it. Like, even when
Yeah.
I do little live action things,
Yeah.
like me being far less of a filmmaker, it feels fun to just think of ways to either frame a shot or just add a gag into it.
I agree 100,000 billion trillion %. And for this, I wanted to, for the commercial specifically, I wanted to go out of my way and try and find, like, because what I'll do is I have a folder that's specifically, well, I have a few folders that are just assets that I've collected, whether it's from old videos or from just like being online, or it's from me going out into the world and collecting assets. So I'll take, I don't know how many of you know this about me, but I'm a very avid photographer. I like taking photos, and I have saved pretty much every single photo I've taken over the course of my life. At any time I need to take, any time that I need an image, like of a city or a forest or something like that, I'll always go through my assets folder and my pictures, and I'll try and find one that I have taken myself so that I can use it, because it's probably going to look better than something that I can just get off the internet. And that same case, luckily, applies for these commercials. I used quite a bit of B-roll footage that I had taken in my off time that wasn't planned for a project, but I still had, and I just reused it for this. Now, this knife video was not one of those, but when I heard in the audio popular 25-piece knife package, I thought I could do a commercial, but also it would be really funny if I did like a weird, out of place video of somebody like busting into a house and like pointing a knife at somebody or something like that. That was such a scuffed thought, but it was really funny.
No, definitely. My concern was that please stab something that is not a human so we don't get demonetized. That was my only quid pro quo for this.
It's a good
this
one.
is actually taken from an actual infomercial, just one that I remembered from my childhood, being sick
Yeah.
from school. Just
Mhm.
that specific voice to me is infomercial, man.
I agree.
Piece knife package.
In those few lines right now, Spamton recognizes Chris as a Lightner, a being known as a protector, creator, or even a god to Darkners like himself. And when faced with such a being, immediately tries to hustle them. Spamton does his best to win Chris over, seeing them alone and appealing to a presumed sense of abandonment that both of them share. How they can rise up and be big together with just
That's my bicep. That's my bicep.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Audio's from Parappa the Rapper 2.
Oh, is that where that's from? Oh, that's really
Yes.
funny.
Yes, I'll say where I ripped everything from.
Please and thank you. So for this, for the commercials, I also just so happened to get in front of my green screen, and this was the first time that I had done content like that, like where I had gotten did like live action content for the channel as well. I just got out my green screen. And I just put on like different hats and jackets and costumes that I had, and I just I just did a bunch of like dancing or things that seemed like very early 2000s and like late 90s sorts of gestures, and the big I just had that thought like, oh, I'm kind of a muscly kind of guy that could work. So just flexed. I'll put the B-roll video that I have like on screen for you guys to see, just like as little funny like behind the scenes.
Together with just this one sweet deal. And through his sales pitch, he mentions the heart-shaped object that Chris has. And despite not flinching at Spamton's impassioned sales pitch before, without any input from the player, Chris takes a step back. Now, this was super important for me to emphasize because control is such an important part of both Undertale and Deltarune, and essentially where the player's control starts and where the agency of their character begins.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all of these little things, like I really wanted to make it important that it is not the player but Chris that is reflecting on Spamton here.
Yeah, I didn't think about that when I played the game, and I kind of like my like brain got like blown out the back of my head when you pointed it out to me. I was like, oh my god, dude, that's like actually that's crazy. I did not think about that, and I don't know if many people notice that actually. That's probably not something. Well, I don't want to comment on the media literacy of the Deltarune or Undertale fan base, but it's a very slight detail that it's very subtle. It's not something that it's just innocuous. And you pointing it out, I'm like, dude, you're a genius.
And it's something that would be taken for granted in any other RPG, but I feel like Deltarune specifically, you have to look at it in a deeper lens because it's very specifically eyeing that theme, and it has big moments of it, but it also has all of these little things. Toby is great at sneaking that in. Takes a step back. From the moment he's introduced, you get an idea that Spamton knows more about the world than the average character, and uses that to actively connect to the character of Chris before taking them into a battle to seal the deal. The Spamton fight is pretty
for everyone
and fairly different.
Baby Rocket. Rocket. I hope you people notice that.
The fight is pretty
for everyone.
I love you, Missile Baby.
Oh, Missile Baby. I remember doing Napalm Man, and oh god, it was so funny to me. I needed to know like how do I like content aware fill an object over like another object, and this is what I made first try, and I said, dude, this the best thing I've made in my life. And at the time, that was my magnum opus. Also, this footage of this tower is reused in my DK December video on my channel, Creepy Doll. It's if you remember, it's that like in a town in the woods at the top of a hill, that first like lyric. That this is the exact same footage of that tower that's in my parents' backyard. And where is E for Everyone? Did you just like record that and
that was just me.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
And fairly difficult to lose by design. Spamton has
The amount of comments I got of I lost Spamton.
Yes, I noticed that too. I noticed that.
I'm so sorry, but these aren't hard patterns.
Yes, I remember reading that as well. And I thought that was hilarious. That many people like dying to Spamton first try. That is so funny.
All of Spamton's attacks give you ample time to dodge, and more importantly, are very easy to graze, giving the player access to an abundance of TP. Racking up tension points is super simple with Spamton, and that's the point. He's not here to beat you.
Dude, Jesus criminy, dude. I
super simple
when we
with
were
Spamton,
oh god,
and
when we were
that's
doing
the
that
point.
in the when I was asking you, what did you have in mind for that? You forgot.
Yeah.
Or I remember you saying that you forgot, and I was
did
like,
forget.
What do I even? Just say it.
I think, like, looking back on it, I was like, just put some typography of "that's the point" or Spamton shrugging or something. I think that was the original intention. But, like, to put this in the context, when I was making this, I was also performing in a show, which was, I believe, 6 nights a week.
Oh, dude. Okay. I mean, I can't blame you for forgetting.
Yeah,
that
and
stuff.
I was both bit player and crew for that show, one-man crew. So
yeah. Ugh.
And then I traded out with my boss, who was in the sound booth, who is also a bit player. So we would run up and down to perform other roles. So we were exhausted. So by the time this came around, I went, whatever.
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
He's not here to beat you. He's here to hit you with as sweet of a deal as he can offer, including giving you an action where you can heal up and negotiate with him on the same turn. Heck, he even has a unique healing mechanic where pressing F.
I mean, there's really not much to say about that one. It's pretty self-explanatory.
It's very subtle, and not many people would get it.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I agree. I think I think a lot of people missed our artistic
it's a good critique on capitalism. Personally, I find.
I think it talks a lot about climate change.
I think that it says that everyone who read Catcher in the Rye is an idiot.
Okay, wait,
so that's just me, but voice-wise. But please go on.
That's you voice-wise, and also this is directly inspired by the iPod commercial from the early 2000s, where it's people dancing on a background like that with like a silhouette.
Right. Yeah.
I as soon as I heard that, I thought it needs to be the Apple commercial that I remember. And so I did that. Why is it muted? There we go.
No time spent. Spamton wants to butter you up as much as possible, while still making you feel like the one winning the fight. In order to spare Spamton, players need to navigate a brief conversation puzzle with him, always seeming interested in what deals he has to offer, but not biting whenever Spamton tries to hustle them out of some... And through the course of this fight,
no
Spamton
comment.
starts
nothing.
unraveling more and more. He needs this deal with Chris to go through. Dialogue boxes screaming that there's nothing wrong unconvincingly, Spamton occasionally begging for help, trying to relate to Chris on how they could be so much more, how they could get big enough to not need the money and can just enjoy a little
hyperlink blocked.
How both of them are absolutely desperate for freedom. And then
that's probably
you
my
take
favorite
the
little bit
deal.
there.
You think so? The Desperate?
Yeah. It's so
Okay.
simple, but it works so well. Like, that's just the punch of just, oh, shit. Because, like, everything else is haha funny, big random effects that I put my voice through the freaking flanger
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah, so,
whatever.
I think that's fair. I think my personal favorite might be later in the video, but it's mostly just because of the idea that I had for it, and not necessarily anything to do with like the video itself. I think I agree that this is probably the best one that's just by itself, like not taking into account visual effects or anything like that. This is probably the best one that sells the point.
Right.
For freedom.
I really want to emulate with this script Spamton's way of speaking.
Yeah.
Both with the interjections, but like in a way that isn't obtrusive, but is reflective of Spamton.
I agree. 100%.
And then you take the deal. The entire point of Spamton's fight is to sell the idea of Spamton to the player, for him to do a little dance and be something that the player wants to pursue.
I want to be clear. This was not my idea. None of you get on me for this graphic in particular. This was not me.
This was me.
Explain
this was
yourself,
100%
sir.
me.
Explain yourself, sir.
Okay. I think Tharja is really attractive in Awakening when she is like a loser Wiccan. And then when they made her a sex object, she lost a ton of appeal. Like, obviously, she's meant to appeal sexually. However, I loved the idea of a character that loses their character because they are attractive. And that's what I wanted to do it as, like, just an object of desire. And that's what I look toward. And I think Tharja Awakening is a horrible, horrible person, but is also an idiot, and I like that.
All right, there's your explanation.
His charisma.
Stop bothering me about it.
and
I think it
general
looks good.
hospitality
I
winning
agree.
him over, with a little lore intrigue sprinkled in for good measure. He is actively selling you on a side.
You told me to put this in, and I think I was a little bit bitter about it. I don't know why I was bitter. Well, I think I was just, I don't know, man. Like we put a lot of effects into it, and I was, oh, fucking you. Okay, Sesame Street, whatever, fine. Just put this. And I just,
Dude, I just wanted visual variety. We were on that battle screen for a while. I found it important to separate it.
I don't disagree. That's totally fair. At the time, I think I was just very tired, and it was like.
Quest. And if you ever seek out his shop, he's totally succeeded in his absolute crippling need for you to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so that you can see Designing 4 videos right as they come. Spamton Shop is accessed from the trash zone, and at the little man's insistence, Chris chooses to visit him alone. One-on-one, you get more of the same great taste.
So, this is a bottle that I filled with ketchup, Chick-fil-A sauce, barbecue sauce, and water that I mixed around, and then I put it in front of my green screen, and then I poured water onto the bottle. And that's it.
Yeah, it's very upsetting.
It was upsetting for me to make.
The same winning speech pattern playing out over a glitchin' background. Selling items that randomize in price that the player has to time correctly in order to get their big savings. It's fun and goofy in all the ways that you'd expect, but it's here where we get that there's a lot more that's off with Spamton. He asks you to infiltrate Queen's Mansion in order to get a, quote, heaven-piercing, workout-ready body.
That's footage that I took while I was outside like very early in the day, and I just wanted to get like a bunch of pictures of like the sunset or the sunrise, I should say, the sunrise and like the nice area around the city. And I just like got footage of somebody running and I thought that that was really nice. And this is what I kind of mean. Like if you have time and you want to and you just want to like do something fun for yourself, just go out and like start recording the area around you and see what you can harness from around you. And maybe you don't use it, maybe you do use it. Either way, having it in your back pocket I think is better than not having it in your back pocket.
Agreed. Speaking as someone who mostly gets gameplay, a big thing that I would recommend to anyone aspiring to create content: rotate your saves. You want to have, if a game gives you like 20 save files, if it gives you 7 save files, if it gives you 80 save files like a Persona game, make sure that you use all of them. You want to make sure that if a great moment hits you, you want to be able to go back to that moment. You don't have to record absolutely everything you're doing. I think that makes playing video games miserable, thinking you're doing everything for content. But if you can save specific moments that are either you know are coming up, or just you have an earlier save, that will make your life so much easier. Helps for streaming in general as well. If anything goes wrong with anything crashing, having a backup is incredibly important. If your game doesn't have a lot of rotating saves, if you are running something that can create a save state, that is beautiful as well.
I agree with that. Even though I don't record gameplay very often, I think that's sound advice. And I would also recommend that if you're playing Higurashi.
That will catapult you both to success. But he still requires...
I did that effect. I didn't even realize that. I did a funny little this is before I knew how to replicate glitch effects, so I just got a I did literally just got a green screen from a channel that did like a glitch effect across the way and just copied that over. I totally forgot I did that.
But
wow.
he still requires
That's really subtle.
that you do buy the thing from him. He can't help the hustle after all. This would seem like an innocuous enough side quest, but then the rest of Spamton's dialogue options start swinging for the fences with references to lore-rich Deltarune characters, and we've hit the motherlode of theory crafting here.
Oh my god, it's horrible. I forgot about this. Oh my god. No, I have nothing else to say about that. That's scuffed.
Spamton mentioned surpassing a clown around town. And unlike him,
I have 2 good impressions, and one is the Mad Hatter, and the other is Neocortex.
Motherload of theory crafting here.
Spamton mentioned
about surpassing
this? No, there's nothing to say about it. I think
well, you animated this yourself, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I animated this myself, and I think I got a GIF of what's his name?
Jevil.
Jevil, thank you. Jevil, and I just put it on. I got like the sprite map of the city, and I just got Spamton moving him forward. That was it. But yeah, this video was also one of the first times that I actually animated. I did like actual animation sequences instead of just taking gameplay and like putting fancy effects over it. I think this was one of the first times where I actually made my own sequences instead of just relying on what I've been given. I completely forget about this effect all the time, even though it's so good it fools even me. So there you go.
And unlike him, not being content lurking in the dark, instead shooting for the skies, alluding pretty obviously to Chapter 1 superboss and chaotic basement dweller, Jevil. When discussing the knight who creates the dark fountains keeping together Deltarune's worlds, Spamton starts freaking out, breaking his speech pattern to beg for forgiveness before bursting with anger and burying that dialogue option forever. He insists that the two of you don't need anyone else. You don't need friends. You don't need Mike. And then he breaks down.
How did I even do that? I don't remember.
Anyone else. You don't need friends. You don't need Mike.
I don't remember how I did that.
And then he breaks
Your guess
down,
is as good as mine. I don't know.
Whoever the Mike is, before doubling down that you definitely don't need that charlatan. Keygen.
Spamton is always so dangerously close to revealing key information about himself to others, but can just never bring himself to do it. That's not the sale, after all. That's not what will make him big. He doesn't.
Yes, that's what I was gonna mention earlier. So, this is footage of a wheelchair that was under a train overpass that I got when I was in North Carolina visiting my friend, and I still really like the animation of the drop shadow going like that. I really like how that looks. This interjection in specific sticks out to me still when I think about it. I really like it, even though it's one of the shortest.
No, I agree. The actual voice line is Big the Cat's self-introduction from Sonic Adventure.
I thought it was Big the Cat. I was right.
Buddy, all he needs is your help. He needs you. Someone who can still choose. Now, you...
this. Oh, I'm so upset about this. This is one of the things that still makes me sad about this video, about any of the videos that I've worked on. Ladies, genties, and NBs in the audience, please, for the love of God, clear your disk cache often. Do it dozen times per video. I don't care. Whatever you're working on, please clear your disk cache. I talk about this in the Gerudo Valley video. I'm going to talk about it here. If you have done an effect that took a lot of computer power, you need to clear your disk cache, or you should remember to clear your disk cache, because if you don't, things like this are going to happen. This is supposed to be a black screen. This is supposed to be nothing. I don't want anything here, and I wanted the now to come up like assault you in the eyes. I didn't know how to fix this, and I forgot to fix it before we put out the video. I feel terrible about that.
Well, don't. I think it fits the video just fine. I think just Spamton existing is absolutely fine. Like, trust me, there is so much in here that I will take a happy accident.
That's fair, but I want to warn everybody, please. If you're working with After Effects, if you're working with Premiere, I don't remember if you need to do it with Premiere, but definitely in After Effects, you have to clear your disk cache. You have to purge your memory. You have to, there's another thing that you have to purge, but you have to do that often, or else stuff like this is going to happen. Where something like, I don't know what this, it's magic. Just video editing is magic, okay? Don't ask any more questions. It's just magic. But just know that if you have accrued like more than, like however much you've allocated for your disk cache, you need to clear that like ASAP. Like you need to get rid of that. And it's not going to affect like your final, if you get rid of your disk cache, it's not going to hurt anything. In fact, it's going to probably make your video render much quicker because it doesn't have that much to process anymore. I'm not the person to ask why that happens. I just know that it's a thing, and that you need to watch out for it. If you need more information, ask Jake in Motion or Linus Tech Tips or somebody like that.
Now, you could just go to the basement, get the loaded disc, return to Spamton, and get the gravy train a-rollin'. But there are little bits of the skittish salesman littered all throughout the cyber world. You're far from the first person he's approached with this steal from the spooky basement scheme, Sweet Cap'n Cakes having turned him down before. Signs of his previous success have long since eroded, Queen's image plastered right on top of him. You learn that he's tried emulating the look of Swatch, the most popular of Queen's butlers, but to no success. Even little things like an offhanded comment about how this acid bath makes you shorter add to Spamton's character through the little hints he drops. Every little detail shows Spamton having tried everything, trying to make it out on his own, trying every way he can to appeal and deal with everyone. But he just can't do it on his own.
I like that little transition a lot. It's real simple, but it fits so nicely.
Thank you very much.
He needs to cling to the only thing he knows how to, the only thing that's given him success before. Because nothing else has worked. I mean, I tried being a voice actor. It never really panned out. I really want... It's only
I forgot how to do that effect as well. I can't
that's
remember.
fine. I do want to say, because this is an interjection, and usually I hate interjections in videos because I think that it detracts from the overall theme. So I wanted to be very, very certain if I was going to be in this video, it was 100% reflective of the theme. And I feel like I could only really do this in a game that reflects on the player as much as Undertale and Deltarune do. Because in general, I think that if you're going to do like skit or sketch comedy in the middle of your video, it needs to be absolutely in service of the themes of the video, and not just like, oh, at the end it will all come together and it will kind of parallel what your overall thesis on the product that you're doing is. No, you can bullshit that super easily. Like, I can bullshit themes all day. It's very simple. But if you're going to use yourself in a video and the idea is not you presenting this theme, then you have to make it perfectly reflective of what you're going for. Either your experience playing the game, what you expect someone playing the game to feel like, what you expect someone interacting with this piece of media was, what it felt like to be there at the time. Like, those are very important things to capture that you can capture, but do not take that for granted or you will lose people instantly. I still get people saying this is cringe, and I get it, but I did everything to the point where I personally would be satisfied with this if someone was doing an interjection of this kind. And everyone's
Yeah.
tolerance is going to be different, but trust your own tolerance for your own bullshit, because you're going to be harder on yourself than most people will.
Yeah, I personally wish that we could do something like this more often, because I think that's what makes this particular video more compelling to me than any of the other ones that we've done thus far. I think you inserting yourself into it in this way and relating to Spamton makes it instantly, like, for me personally, more interesting, not only to put together but also to watch. It and I think that also contributes to why I think that this video sticks out in my mind more than any, or I should say, this is why I still look back so fondly on this one. And why I have such nostalgia for it is that, like, it's just as equally about you as it is about Spamton. And I think that makes it so. I mean, we obviously every video we're getting your opinion on something, but I like especially when we hear what you have to say about yourself. And I mean, I'm a pretentious kind of person. I like that in everything. That if a piece of media that I'm watching or consuming comments on the person that's making it as much as it's commenting on something else, that to me is like gold instantly. I love that shit.
Right.
And I love it for this video. It's great. I kind of wish we could do it more often, but I totally agree with you that it's not. It really has to be something like this, where it's it needs to be in service of the theme of the video, and you can't really do that with something like Mario that doesn't really comment on the player or whatever. Or it has to be something that does comment on on you, the person that's playing it, as much as it's commenting on, you know, what's going on in there.
Yes,
like
if your thesis is your own personal reflection, or you're assuming like the audience's reflection of it, then that's totally fine. But you have to find a way that makes it work. You can't just shove it in there because you have a cool idea and it's tangentially related to this subject. So you're just going to mash two flavors in and hope they taste great together.
Yeah. Nostalgia critic. Sorry.
Oh, you gathered, huh?
Yeah. I gathered.
Was I subtle enough? It frustrates me. Doug does it really well sometimes.
I mean,
and then most of the time he doesn't, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree with that. He really does. I mean, any of the people that do that kind of thing don't do it. I mean, it's I don't know if Doug. No, it was AVGN. AVGN definitely started that trend. But when he did it, it was comedic, right? Like he didn't actually have an opinion on the games that he played other than to say like this sucks, and that's about it, right? Like he didn't pretend to have like a thesis in film discussion.
Right. No,
To
James
sit.
just wanted to express a love of filmmaking and a love of sort of going over bad games and turning
Yeah.
it into a parody of itself. And that was the idea for it. And that was
Yeah.
the draw. So, there was an artistic statement to defecating on Bugs Bunny.
Yes. And with Doug is a bit more pretentious with his opinion. And he at least I should say that Nostalgia Critic presents himself as more full of himself and opinionated on what he's talking about. And I mean, yeah, it's Doug's opinion, but the character himself is doing that thing where he's taking the thesis and making it.
I feel like there's a conflict between the character and the exact message, but it needs to come from the character because the character is popular, so he needs to make the statement through the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid.
Anyway, to not make this a Nostalgia Critic retrospective.
No, I love this. I love
No. I used to want to be on Channel Awesome when I was like a teenager.
What if after this video he invites you on? What are you gonna do?
Say yes.
Okay, I will too.
Well, not to the company, but just like to hang out.
Yeah, totally. I would love to hang out with Doug.
Yeah, why not?
You made my childhood, dude.
They revealed that Spamton was an ordinary ad guy, just like the rest of them, but he had horrible luck. Nothing he did ever seemed to go right. But oh, he had dreams to make it big. And one day, his prayers seemed to be answered. Someone partnered with him. He became rich. Everything he touched was a success. And because of that, all of his friends left him, jealous that he got to be chosen for no reason. And eventually, that luck ran out. Spamton's benefactor abandoned him, and left on his own, Spamton crashed and burned harder than he ever had before, his sales dropping to 0. He fled his room in Queen's Mansion before being evicted, leaving behind a phone in mid-call. And the only thing playing through that receiver was garbage noise, the very same that plays through Chris's own cell phone.
Now, this obviously implies the presence of famous Undertale theoryman W.D. Gaster. And while that's obviously really cool, I want to applaud what it does as a compliment to Spamton's character. The way it plays out, this potential Gaster deal is practically a Faustian bargain. Spamton willing to do anything for his success. And when that inevitably comes crashing down, Spamton is desperate to pursue that again, but knows that he can't do it alone. Spamton doesn't just add to the lore of his world, he's enhanced by it. And he comes to represent all of the influencers, advertisers, and creators that there are out there. Because really, all of this could be gone tomorrow. That was so hard to do in one take. It took me like a solid 2 hours of making sure I got the tonation right, or tonality right. Just walking back and forth in my backyard, repeating those lines to myself over and over again. When you're just sitting down recording in front of a microphone, you are hyper aware of every single mistake you make.
Yeah, totally. Dude, it is a pain in the ass. The things that we suffer through to give you people in your ravenous mouths content. I don't want to hear any unappreciation from any of you for the rest of the night. Go to your room.
Absolutely. If you'd like to support us on Patreon, it's only $1 to get more content like this.
Oh, I should say, wait, before we continue. That music in the background was my idea, and that is just the bass line for Now's Your Chance To, and also the Mad Dummy leitmotif by extension, and also like a couple other characters from Undertale by extension.
Mhm.
And I just did that in Reaper, which I'm recording in right now, and it was just like I think it was the Town Noisemaker or something like that I used for it.
You just keep hammering away at it and keep going with tools that don't work anymore, but they worked before. You got so far. They work for other people. Why isn't it working now? You just can't stop and do something else, though. No, success could be just around the corner, just a little further away. So you just keep going at it. But you need some just a little bit of help. But you don't know who, you don't know where from. So you just. I loved getting the body language right for that shot.
I loved watching you do it.
Thank you.
It
I
was
really
great.
appreciated it. In order to get the glasses, I just completely froze my body and waited for my sister to drop the glasses in my hand, and then we just cut around that.
Yes.
Just it's very simple to create cut effects like that, as long as you have good control of your body.
Yeah. That's called a match cut for anybody that wants to know that. Now, if I was to redo this, the one thing that I would change is I'd like to do a pull-in on you for this entire sequence. I would have liked to have done just the camera very slowly expanding, with you filling more and more, so that it draws you into what you're talking about more. Instead of you just like sitting there still like monologuing in front of the camera, I would have liked to I'm not saying that you should have done that. I should have made you just like a little bit, just sort of zoom in on you more while you're talking.
So you just.
I would have liked to do that. Other than that, that sequence great. So, cosplay of the year, first of all.
Thank you. Most replayed. I see.
Yeah, of course, it's the most replayed.
Right.
But this is probably my favorite part of the video, hands down. I gotta be honest about that. Now, so I have been an unfiction / internet horror content aficionado pretty much more than half my life at this point. So, when you told me that we were going to do a breakdown for this video, I was so giddy. I was so happy that I was able to do that. I love doing stuff like this. I love the opportunity of freaking out the audience. I love doing that stuff. And I had quite a few inspirations for this part. This part was, unfortunately, inspired by a web series entitled Tribe 12. I say unfortunately because the dude that made it is a pedophile, so that's bad. But the effects in it are pretty good. And this effect in particular is great. This like threshold effect. Now the mirror shot, this is, if you haven't noticed before, what unsettles you about this so much, fellow audience member, is that his face is mirrored exactly in the middle. I did not come up with that. I was editing this in a call with my friend Aiden Elliott, who, if you're on Twitter, she made the Sun Vanished. And she was talking with me, and she was like, hey, you should totally mirror his face. And I said, you're a freaking genius, dude. Great idea. And I did that, and it looks great. And also just a jump scare. He didn't tell, by the way, Pierre didn't tell me to do the jump scare. I thought of that because that's important.
No,
and
it
I
was
wanted to
very
scare
important. You can tell very easily that it's mirrored just based on the bow tie, which I purposely had
Askew.
off-centered. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember how I did that. Oh, it was just, this is just like an emboss effect. God, dude. I would probably do things different. I don't know. I would probably add more effects to this, but honestly, this sequence is pretty freaking good on
No,
its own.
I like the sequence quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't know if there's maybe I could add things, but I don't think it's necessary. This is really I'm still very, 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 very proud of this. And the cosplay like sells it so hard, dude. Oh my god.
Thank you.
I wish we did again. I wish we did things more like this more often.
I
But
do too.
rarely do videos call for it. This is a very special case where it needed to be this.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that.
No, the thesis of this had to be Spamton's reflection on others and why this meme character is so important, because memes become memes because they resonate with you.
Yeah.
So being able to create this sort of space of people online seeing their own failures within Spamton became incredibly important for me to embody in this. And most of that is either stuff that I got from under $10 from Amazon or stuff that was in my closet.
Yeah. That's actually really important, actually. I'm not recommending that you people be a hoarder about things, but don't just throw stuff away if you can't see a reason for keeping it around right now. I'm not saying like keep cardboard boxes and stuff like that. I'm saying like if you have like a wig or you have like, I don't know, a really old camera or something like that, maybe don't throw it away just yet. Keep it on hand in case you might need to use it, especially if you're a content creator.
Yeah,
Just
don't
throw stuff out.
If you need space, by all means. But
yeah, totally.
There's going to be a moment of, where is that? I used to have it. Did I throw that away?
Yeah.
But
And
in
that's a
general,
shame.
you can achieve good cosplay or good thematic resonance with on the cheap. It's pretty simple to get an effect like that. The only thing I splurged with there was the glasses, which cost me, I think, like $17 from an Etsy shop.
$17 for the glasses? That's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really nice glasses, but damn, $17. Well, no, they're really
they're really good,
and
just to get them individual tinted lenses, it's just it's nice.
Yeah,
I'll take
agree.
that for the effect, because the glasses as a symbol were very important to get right.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'd also say, in my experience, you should do what he says, because for the Donkey Konga video, I spent, I think, probably $60. And I did not need to do that. I probably could have gone to a costume shop like right down the street and picked it up for less, and also could have gone to like an exchange shop and gotten the Donkey Kong bongos for much cheaper. So don't be like me. If you don't need to splurge, don't do it. Just be creative. Be creative with your approach.
Goodwill has a lot of good options more often than not for you.
Yeah.
Where at least you can see the material and enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's such a good song.
Basement,
I agree.
Surviving a teacup ride
catchy.
that's lethal if you're bad. Downloading
More people complained about that as well. They were very upset that you said that.
Spamton into a USB and sticking him inside of a forgotten robot.
I'm sorry
He
they're bad
ascends
at
to
easy
his
game.
ultimate form, Spamton Neo. And finally, for both of you, it's time to be a big shot. Neo is an absolutely incredible boss fight, combining all of Spamton's strong characterization with bullet patterns that are not only challenging, not only fitting, but exemplify everything that Spamton is about. The fight reintroduces the yellow soul mechanic from Undertale, turning the usual bullet-dodging jamboree into a side-view shoot-'em-up, adding in a charge move to unleash a literal and Spamton
So
gives
that
the player
is
pull
a combination of the theme of the Big Show from WWE and Shot Through the Heart.
Move to unleash a literal
Oh, that's where I was wondering where the shot was from. Oh, that makes sense.
And Spamton gives the player plenty to fire at, shooting out little destructible versions of his face. Giant pillars of spam emails with grins to gun down and bombs to Not delicious
That's really
delicious
good.
peppers that give birth to even more spam if they make contact. Phone face! All of Spamton's moves are made to get a ton of bullets on the screen, requiring precision shots for Chris to take and navigate through just to survive. But that's not all.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Me pondering my orb. Oh god, what is this a combination of? I think this is like footage that I took of a tunnel, and then this is me in front of the green screen with a wizard beard that I had since elementary school, and an ushaka, and a robe that I had for a different project, and that's it.
Spamton can litter the screen with bullets
That's
by
good.
thrusting his
Thank you.
achy-breaky heart forward to try to connect with Chris as violently as possible, or using his full face to send out a
This footage was actually really interesting. I was out one day, and I was walking down the street, and I was walking home, and for some reason there was a pipe that was shooting out water from like a high-rise building, and it was like landing. It looked like it was like kind of raining, but not really, in front of like a fence. And I thought that looked really cool, and I just got footage of that. And then this is just more of me dancing.
of a
Cool.
three-pronged
Thank you to the
attack.
person who literally yesterday was the first person to realize that was a reference to Paper Mario.
Oh, is that what that's a reference to?
Yeah, it's a reference to Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, the character Flavio.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Undertale.
that.
I know, you're good.
Spamton Neo is a relentless assault of patterns, each strike becoming more powerful than the last. But none of them betray the pitiful, ever-desperate shell that is Spamton's character. For every overwhelming attack that Spamton has in his arsenal, he's got a weakness that can almost totally neutralize it. If he doesn't land a hit on Chris while using his phone hand attack, it will never advance to its second, much harder pattern. The player never picking up his phone call and getting a raw deal. The spam trucks basically require Chris to graze past them in order to survive, generating a ton of TP that they can have Ralsei heal with, or use to strengthen their soul for the next strike. In Spamton's big face attack, each of his eyes, nose, and mouth can be shot to death, stopping them from hurling out bullets whenever the attack is brought out again. Literally throwing your heart at someone is pretty bad for your health, and shooting it until it breaks brings Spamton ever closer to
I kind of wish I did something for that. Looking back, that would be really funny. Why didn't I think of that?
Closer to defeat.
That'd be really funny.
After throwing out peepees for long enough, a call will come in for Spamton to take late in the fight. The man's so desperate for a chance that he'll get hit by his own attack, giving the player a free turn. He forgot to turn his F1 toggle off so the player could have a free heal on command if they remember it from the first fight. He's completely unable to stop the player from exploiting a charge shot glitch, just getting angrier and stronger rather than actually patching the glitch out. He can't even limit your TP use like the evil clown could. I can do anything. Even at Spamton's absolute strongest, unleashing the full power of Neo, shooting out massive balls of energy representing all that his being's got to give. Larger bullets deal less damage, and they're in a consistent,
That was a good transition.
predictable pattern.
It was.
Making his ultimate the easiest attack to dodge in all of Spamton's arsenal. There is nothing that Spamton won't do to ascend to...
I don't know what possessed me, man.
It was so perfect.
I think I just finished chapter 2 in preparation for the video, and I remembered that the only character thus far that's like died in Deltarune that we know about from like Undertale is whatever this gentleman's name
Gersten.
is. Gersten, thank you. I thought, dude, I gotta do it.
But every
No,
single
it's so
one of
good.
his
The
attacks.
audio is from Persona 4 Dancing All Night.
Oh man, I still gotta play Persona. People have been talking with me about Persona more and more recently, and I really gotta capitalize on it. That also, there's a video that you did that, if I recall, you told me was the same sort of personal aspect as this video is, for Persona. I really want to watch that. I want to watch that so bad, but I can't because I don't want to get spoiled.
Gives the player
Oh yeah. The one on Akechi? Definitely. Yeah, you can't.
or an advantage, or can blow up direct.
More of you people should watch that video, by the way. It's only got like 20,000 views or something like that. Stop that. Watch more.
In his
Love that
face.
video.
Spamton is a self-destructive, single-minded force who can't help himself from falling for the same tricks again and again and again. And this fight makes it abundantly clear just how intentional that is. Spamton Neo's performance isn't just for the sake of power. It's for the sake of attention. Constantly through the fight, it's noted that Spamton is turning to the audience, dancing for their amusement, pleading and praying for their attention. But there is no audience. The last time he had one, they were taking all the furniture out of his room, after all. He's just been performing endlessly for anyone who might want anything of what he's got.
And the tiger poster.
Oh my god, I had to have been out of my goddamn mind when I thought of that, dude. I
The
don't know
tiger
what
poster.
possessed me. I just remember, I think, oh man, I think I was like, I can't just take the commercial. I have to do something funny with it, and it must have been like 2 a.m. or something like that. And I just got a PNG of a tiger and put it on my screen, took out my camera, and recorded me rubbing it.
No, it's beautiful. Order zoo books today and send learning and fun to a child you love.
Oh my god. Dude. I can't believe I thought of this. That is so funny. Also, that commercial is embedded in my brain forever.
Right?
He doesn't know what else to do. He just knows that he needs that soul. So just maybe he'll have the power to do something different.
Why is my body doing this thing? I'm like a puppet on a string.
But even at his lowest, Spamton
That felt good to
still
include.
has a little bit of him wanting to fight, wanting to make a genuine connection. If you have the mannequin in the shape of Spamton or the bow tie he sold you equipped, accessories that only Chris can put on, Spamton will deal less damage to them, pulling his punches. Spamton is desperate for this win. He's desperate for a friend. He's desperate for freedom. And ultimately, you have to be the one to try to give it to him. If the player chooses to pull at the strings that bind him, cutting them down slowly, Spamton will be overjoyed when he finally notices that there's only one left. You've given him the chance to fly, given him friendship that he long since thought had abandoned him. And when he's finally ready to take off, Spamton.
So those are the
needs
original
pull.
sound effects. I didn't like the quality that they were in game, so I set them on the audio file and I timed them to the game so I could get them in the highest quality I could.
Oh. That's pretty slick of you to do that. Nobody had
thank-
ripped them yet?
No, they were ripped, but the quality from the actual game was poor.
Okay.
So I couldn't just
Gotcha.
rip from the game. So I just took the rip and I timed it to the game to make sure that, as opposed to just dragging the file in.
Mm-hmm.
And I love working with sound effects. It gives
Yeah.
videos a ton of pop, and it makes it feel a lot more interactive and alive with you. And it gives you
Yeah.
the feel of actually playing the game. And I feel that interactivity is a very, very important part of video games.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
So
also think that no, go ahead, please.
I just say I wanted it to be clean. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we talked about this in the Garuda video. I'm repeating it here because it's really important to say. Sound in videos, in my opinion, is about just it's pretty much more important than the actual video aspect of a video. If I'm being totally honest with you, it's the thing that goes unnoticed by the audience, but it affects so much of what you're watching. And like you said, it gives it more pop and it's more interactive and it draws your attention even though you don't notice it drawing your attention.
It goes unnoticed until it's wrong, and then you notice that immensely.
Yes. So like he said, that sound effect isn't he needed to make that himself in his DAW or digital audio workstation, and I simply synced it up. I had nothing to do with the sound process for this except for the middle part here. But that just goes to show you how important that is. Like, this middle part is as effective as it is because of the soundscape that we had made for it. So, long story short, if you're going to do videos, you need to pay attention to the sound probably more than you pay attention to the video itself.
Mm-hmm.
If any video editor out there gets mad at me saying that, check yourself.
Spamton needs the pull. He's in too deep to move without a string to yank him in the right direction. He needs Chris. He needs you. But he's too entangled to leave this pit he's been in. So he joins you as an item to remember him by. The price of his ambition and drive being the total loss of control. And that really gets to Chris. The human warrior unable to control their emotions no matter how the player chooses for them to try and internalize their feelings. And that's really, really good, okay? Probably implies a lot about, well, a lot of Chris's actions and inner struggle too, but that's for future chapters to tell. This right here, as its own moment, as its own little arc, is good.
But I got plenty more left in the tank.
Spamton still has his
commemorative ring.
alluded to.
Any thoughts on that?
No,
in
that's just
particular?
me.
Okay. Yeah, this is more this is a photo that I took in a tunnel, and that's all I have to say about it.
Ring.
Alluded to if you f*** him senseless in a regular run, implying the existence of an alternate, more violent chain of events that wasn't quite in Chapter 1. If you choose to follow the Snowgrave route, ordering your friend Noelle to ice everyone you meet, Spamton will sell you the Thorn Ring for 7 Chromer.
Jeez, dude. That came out of nowhere. Oh my lord. This is more I can't remember if this is the footage or if this is the photo that I took of this shot from my university, but it's one of those two. What is this audio from?
That is ripped from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the third OP of Diamond is Unbreakable Great Days.
Really?
Right before they hit the chorus, they sing 1999 Bizarre Summer.
I didn't know that. I thought this was from a commercial. That's crazy, dude. Wow. I had no idea.
7 Chromer, causing Noelle intense pain to use, but allowing her to cast lethal spells she otherwise wouldn't have access to. This causes such a disturbance that...
I also want to note that I got all the footage for this except for the Snowgrave route because it would hurt my feelings to be mean to characters, so I didn't do that.
I totally understand that.
The cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah.
So, in preparation for the video, with the cosplay still on, he took a few pictures, just to have them, because we put on the costume, might as well take the pictures. I took those photos and incorporated them because they're perfect. And for a long time, they were what I used. If you noticed, those were what I used to represent Pierre in videos. And then eventually, he gave me like a folder full of him like doing thumbnail faces in front of a green screen. That's what I've been using since then. But these Spamton photos are incredible, and it was so funny to use these. Also, this is Hulk Hogan.
No,
talking.
that's
Or,
Macho Man
no,
Randy
Macho
Savage.
Man. I'm a fool
You are.
and a charlatan.
You are. One of those
Spamton is
people I
able to take
respect.
advantage of
The
all
other is
that
Hulk Hogan.
to take over Queen's mansion, plastering his face all over Queen's just as quickly as she was willing to cover up his mug. He's even able to bust into the basement himself, able to get everything he ever wanted. All he needed to do was strike a deal with someone who would do anything to get what they wanted. Until Chris goes to seal the fountain, of course. What, Chris is gonna abandon Spamton too? More likely than you think. Spamton fights with everything he has to prevent this. But since Chris has been grinding up to get some sweet new attacks, and he's still the same old puppet, Spamton can't quite liquidate the Lightner. So instead, he pulls out the old "Lame It Out" card.
What? What possessed me?
I don't know what that is.
No, I don't want to think about that.
Increasing his defense to a level that Chris can't pierce, and chipping away with weak, predictable attacks. Spamton knows he can't win on his own. But he knows you can't win alone either. And in following the Snowgrave route, Chris has managed to drive away all of his friends in the process.
Oh, whoops. Oh, whoops. You scared me with that. I totally forgot. Okay, listen, man. Listen. It's a long video. He didn't mean it. Let him be, for God's sakes.
So important for me to get Chris's pronouns right for this video, and I fucked it up at the end. And that really upsets me. At the time of writing, I had to rewrite this paragraph a couple of times. And I mixed up the tenses of when I was referring to Spamton and when I was referring to Chris. And up to this point in the video, I get Chris's non-binary pronouns correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it was very important for me to get that. And by the time it was pointed out, the video was already well on its way.
Yeah,
it was just a point of.
I didn't notice it either because I think I was also kind of confused as to who you were referring to at this current juncture. I thought you were talking about Spamton, and I just didn't.
I thought I was talking about Spamton at the time of recording and at the time of editing.
But I'm just shocked that people aren't more forgiving or notice that you did the pronouns right the first time around. Like early throughout the video, like until this point, you get it right. But then as soon as you did it wrong when you're getting like the tenses incorrectly, it like people just explode. I understand pronouns are important. I'm not knocking that at all. They are important.
Absolutely.
But like it's like people they went out of their way. It felt like they went out of their way to say that you never got it right, which is like, that's not true at all.
I know that a lot of people were very polite about it and saying that, Chris's pronouns are they, them. And that's absolutely correct. And like,
yeah,
a lot of just general hand waving and misinformation is spread on the character. And I figure that, being able to do that, if I were to make Deltarune content in the future, I take it as they enjoyed the video up to this point because it's 26 minutes in?
Yeah, 26. So they've been
committed,
pretty much,
and that this jutted out to them. Yeah. So I feel that, and I take it as a sign of sympathy, and just as a sign of if you could do better next time, I would appreciate it. At the same time, oh God, it eats at me. It's the one point in this video that I look at, I go, no, I unequivocally fucked that up.
I feel bad about it a little bit because I didn't point it out to you while I was in the editing bay. I mean, how many times do I listen to these freaking video clips, man? And I never noticed it. I didn't say anything about it because I wasn't paying attention, and that I feel like that's my bad. So if you're gonna blame anybody, you should also blame me a little bit because I'm the dude who's supposed to final proof this stuff, and it went over my head. So that's my bad.
Process. His calls of help being just as futile as Spamton's. The player is put in exactly the same pathetic situation Spamton is, but he's got years of desperation on you to fight with. Inevitably, he knows he's gonna win, and under his own power, until someone answers one of Chris's calls. After all, she's desperate for someone to tell her what to do. I love.
People were very specific in pointing out that it was the player that had called Noelle and not Chris.
Yes.
I think that's fair.
No, I agree.
That said,
that whole thing was edited multiple times. I think that it just ended up screwy in its translation. That is a very important distinction to make, I feel.
Yeah. That said, I think people making the same comment multiple times
really
is
helps improve the
unnecessary.
search algorithm. Thank you very much.
All right, fine.
Stupid little guy. Spamton manages to be everything I adore about video game bosses in one incredibly lovable and
Actually, if I could just
pathetic
talk on that
package.
subject a little bit more. Like,
Go for it.
if you make a mistake in a video, people are going to call you out on it.
Yeah.
If you say that Pineco, the Pokemon, is a pine cone, you are going to be raked over the coals because no, it's a bagworm. And you go, but his name is Pineco. And then I go, yeah, but it's a bagworm. It says in the Pokedex it's a bagworm. So like,
is this what video is this relating to specifically?
King K made a video on Pokemon.
Oh, really? Okay.
Gold and Silver. And he said, well, Pineco is based on, well, just freaking guess.
And
It was-
people laid
people are
into him
so
for
mad.
that.
I feel so bad for Dan. But like,
Pokemon fans.
please just understand you are going to make a factual error at some point in your life when making videos.
Yeah. So just have the little bit more of patience for video creators.
Yeah. Take your chops. If you want to fire back a little bit, don't do it aggressively. Be smug about it and sly. Do it within the character of your YouTuber and what feels right for you as a person. But understand that, if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. You take the hit, you move on, and you say thank you for the repeated comments that improve its searchability.
I can't ask for anything more than that.
He's
Yeah.
got a core character that guides his every action and dialogue choice, that's reflected in his attack patterns, that helps him connect to other characters and enrich the lore behind him, and even makes a commentary on getting in too deep in your own ambitions that players can latch onto and take to heart. He's a character that'll appeal to his game's target audience incredibly well, resonates with them, and then becomes more tantalizing the more a player is willing to invest in him, all while still having a fairly challenging and memorable fight that expands upon all of the systems introduced before. We barely even touched on the guy's connection to Metaton, the irony of finding great power in the Neo framework, the deeper implications of his connection to Gaster, how he works as a reflection of Jevil, but theory crafting isn't my strong suit, and we've got plenty on the bone here. What I find most important is how
That is my actual editing timeline. So I haven't talked about this I didn't talk about this in this video, but when I do everything in After Effects now. I don't put anything into Premiere because I don't usually need to do any audio work, and if I do, I can just do it in After Effects, or I do it beforehand in another program. Anyway, what I did during the lifetime of this video is I would do my laydown of footage in Premiere, and then I would port it over into After Effects, and then do all the funny like little visuals in there. Now, I have since stopped doing that because anything that I want to do, I can just do in After Effects anyway. And while it is easier to keep track of what footage you have in Premiere, I've gotten so used to using After Effects at this point that I can navigate it much easier than I can Premiere. So I just don't bother with Premiere anymore unless I just need to like throw something together like this video. Or like I don't need to do anything like complicated like visually. But nowadays whenever I do a video, there's a lot of like complicated like sort of 3D visuals, or like in the Gerudo video, there's like that slanty text that's on the wall, or any like titles or anything like that. I just do it all in After Effects. It's just easier for me to do it there. Some people will be confused by that. After Effects is very complicated, I agree, but I find it easier to use than Premiere in some aspects. But I was gonna also say that this timeline, while looking kind of complicated, is nothing compared to more recent videos, and one that we're gonna talk about at the end here, that to get you excited for it. But anyway, this is really funny to look back at, and you can see commercials and the different. Oh wow, that's nostalgic.
How strongly the imagination can be enraptured by a boss or character executing one specific theme so well, and how much a player can value their time with someone who's merely complementary to the story being told, rather than being a player themselves. Spamton is a fabulous concept that's been examined and fleshed out to be as rewarding as possible. And getting that out of a character who literally says the word Minecraft is really something special. Spamton G.
I didn't know about that before you pointed it out to me as well. That is so funny.
Spamton
Right?
is the perfect man to design for.
Hey! Did you know that right now you can look in our description and you will find yourself, yes, you will find yourself, our link to our Discord server, the ability to interact. Okay, so I had to, in order to get this shot, I don't have much room behind my green screen. It's like a built-in wall desk. So I was crouching on top of the desk in the fetal position, waiting for about 5 seconds before I sprung out from underneath the green screen.
That's amazing. You didn't tell me about that. That's amazing. Oh my god. That is so funny, dude.
In our description and you will find
Also, this is my favorite credit sequence we've done thus far.
Yes. You will find yourself our link to our Discord server. The
I really should shill us more.
I agree with that, and that's what this video is for.
Yeah. Like me. Oh, but more than that, if you wouldn't mind just giving me a little like, a little comment, a little subscribe. How about the algorithm? Just, give a little motion, get the gears in motion, greasy wheel and all that. It'd be really helpful. And you know what? Guess what? We also have a Patreon. Yeah, that's right. You can support us so that I can eat. I really like being able to eat. Look at all
this
these
was
fine
improv,
names all around
obviously.
us. Guess what?
Yes. I love it so much, dude.
Look at this name. It's a different font. You got it. $7 a month. You get to pick your own.
Oh my god, I forgot I did that. That's amazing.
What a scoop. What a deal. Just go ahead and with your old pal Spamton, find your way in. Please. Please, just.
I need to be able to. I need to do this. I really like doing this, guys.
Oh, whoops.
What?
Whoops. Oops a daisy.
Well, we wanted to do this for so long.
Congratulations, you get this one for free.
You got it. It's on the house.
Oh, damn it. I forgot to credit Blader in this one.
I
Oh, that sucks. Oh, well.
need to do this. I really like doing this, guys.
I had so many people asking if I was okay after this.
I was also one of the people that had asked that, and so are my friends and my family. The answer is yes, he's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm good, guys.
Okay. A couple things. Firstly, I mentioned Blader. If you've ever stuck around for the credits and you've seen that name mentioned, if you go to if you subscribe to our Patreon, you'll get the lore behind that for this one towards the end of the BTS for that video. The other thing is that this is, like I said, I'm going to restate this. This is probably my favorite video that I've done thus far for the channel. I love it. It's great. And you all love it too, and that's great. I also want to say, for a little bit of hype in the future, for a future video. Hi everybody, this is AuthorMex. The video that I'm going to be referring to here is Exodia. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. Thanks. That's going to be coming out in July, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, July.
Yeah, July
So
13th is when I have it slated.
We have a video that's a bit off from what we usually do, but is still vaguely video game related. That I would say has pretty much a lot more distinct of a visual identity than this video. It is the most like creative video that I've done for the channel yet, that I've worked on for the channel yet. It's great. I love it. I think the work that's been put into it thus far is great. And it's gonna look fantastic.
I agree with that. I'm super excited to see it come to fruition. I believe by the time that this video comes out, we will have it up on our Patreon for anyone on the $5 tier to view. We just have to give it that specific release date. If not, and I'm lying to you, then, and you spend the $5 to get the paywall, I will refund you those $5.
Well, that's sweet.
So, like, but I think we'll be set.
Yeah, I think so too. I want to try we're getting off topic, but I do want to say this. We want to start trying to backlogging videos so that where there aren't such large gaps in between when we post something anymore, because like between Gerudo Valley and
Mika,
it was like 2 months or something.
Yeah.
That was mostly because I was working on the video that I'm hyping up right now. So I've been working on it for maybe like 3 months, maybe 4 months. I think it's closer to 4 months
Our
now.
original slate for it was what, end of February?
Yeah, it was end of February. Listen, man, it's 30 minutes, okay? It's as long as this video, but I personally have evolved since Spamton, and I don't like I don't know, man. I look back on this video, and as much as I love it, there are things that I wish I had done differently that could have. I mean, obviously there are things that I wish I had
there are
done
things I wish I did differently too.
And also, and by the way, I want to make it clear, we screen the audio more effectively now. We do that. There was a channel that we reference in the audio for that video, and they had recently changed their channel name or something like that, and Peart went out of his way to send me new audio that actually names the channel correctly. So
yes,
There you go. You can rest assured. Anybody watching this right now, rest assured. Anything like that, anything where we do something wrong in the audio, it's gonna be screened, doubly screened. Nothing like incorrect pronouns is ever gonna happen again. I'll make sure of that. Well, he'll make sure of that too, but we'll both make sure of that because partners. Anyway, conclusion. This video is great. Thoughts?
No, I'm really happy with how the overall video ended up turning out. Was delighted when it came out. It was just such a fun time to make and put everything together. Stressful getting everything together just due to it being over the holidays and just in general life happening. And life will happen as you're making videos. But like, if you're watching this and are looking at a concept like this, like even by the time that I put this video out, Spamton was well-tread ground. Like,
yeah,
Delta Room content creators are so fast.
I mean, they kind of have to be.
Yeah.
And we hopped on it pretty quickly. I would say it didn't. I mean, like we said at the start, it was Deltarune had only come out like a month before, or not a month before.
Yeah,
sorry, like
close to a month and a
3
half
months.
when I started making the script, I'd say.
When you started making it, and when we put it out, it was like 3 or 4 months or something like that.
Yeah.
So this is probably the quickest that we've ever jumped on to a video.
Yes.
And it won't be the last. Just you wait. So I'll also say don't be discouraged by things that are going on to stop you from making something if you can help it. Like I said at the start of this, I had just recently moved into my new apartment. And it was quite an ordeal. I mean, it's the same building, but it was still a lot. And in the corner of my room, just outside of the site of the green screen, there was a pile that was about almost as tall as the ceiling of cardboard boxes and unpackaged packaged furniture that was just like laying off to the side. But it was daunting to have to move everything and unpack it and move things around and build furniture so that like my apartment wasn't just like a bare whatever. There was a lot going on at that time as well, and also finals were going on as well. There was a lot that was happening, but I did not let it stop me from putting as much as I could into doing this video, and I'm very proud of that. Even if there are things that I'm not keen on anymore, or there are things that I wish I could have done differently, at the end of the day, I can look back on it and say, well, I did my best at the time. That's really all I can ask for. And I think that I can sleep at night with that.
No, definitely.
Personally.
As like just an answer to what you could do at the time, as just sort of like, because I feel like creatively, as a end of 2021 video, this was the apex of both of what we could offer. And
Yeah,
I feel
totally.
that we have both evolved in our methodology since then.
Considerably. Considerably, I would say. So that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, and I just want to say, if you ever want to make a video, you listening, on any topic, even if it's well covered, as long as you have that experience that is personable to you, then you can make it special. Your voice matters so much more than the actual content of the video. Obviously, have substantive content that helps your case significantly, but the way that you are able to say it, like, I think that this video is 20% information, 10% spins on that information that make it interesting, and 70% presentation.
Yeah. That should be the name of my autobiography. 70% presentation, 90% presentation, 10% information. That's kind of interesting. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Yeah. So keep your eyes out for the video. Sorry, this is for the Patreon people. This is for the exclusive club. Okay. Keep your eyes out for the video that we'll be putting up on Patreon early.
Yep.
Probably like before or after this BTS video comes out.
Well, I mean, hopefully, it'll be, if it's not before or after, then it's never coming out. So,
okay,
like that's how time
or a
works,
little
my
bit,
guy.
So, all right, you get what I'm saying, man. So, keep your eyes out for that. If it's not up already, and also check out the other behind the scenes video that we did. That's on the Patreon.
Yep.
And if you're not subscribed to the Patreon, you can get access to both of those things right freaking now if you give us $1 out of your hard-earned cash.
Well, no, the video is going to be $5.
If you give us $5,
But you can get the BTS for $1. And also,
you can get the
it'd be
BTS
cool.
for $1.
And also, our Discord server, it's in the description and it's free.
Yes. And also, if you like my weirdness and my silly little antics, then you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Author Mix, Author MX. And it's in the description of this video and also every video that I work on. And thank you for watching.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Thank you guys very much. And we look forward to bringing you guys more content.
Yes. So keep your eyes peeled. We'll keep you in the loop. We'll keep you in the loop for the next one when the next one's coming out.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Yeah. So I don't know who's here at the end. If you are, tell me your favorite Kong in the comments.
Yes. And tell me your favorite Spamton face in the comments as well.
Okay, great. Cool.